Hi, Eric Lanask here. We're at the Rio in Las Vegas at ITEXPO, and on the program with me is Irv Remedios. Irv is from Voxer. Irv, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So you guys, Voxer is in the mobile messaging space. What are some of the challenges that people face with mobile messaging apps today?
Yeah, I think there's a number of things. So, first of all, there's people that are coming at mobile messaging from historically they've had push-to-talk solutions or two-way radio. So they've had those kinds of tools to communicate, and those although useful, those tools have certain limitations. They're limited in range. They only work on certain devices. If you miss a message, you can't hear it again. It's a live-only system. So that's sometimes a drawback. And then sometimes you just don't want to be interrupted, and push-to-talk systems and two-way radios always interrupt you. So those are some of the challenges there. On the other side, there's some other messaging tools that have become popular recently, but they tend to be very focused on text. And text messaging, although useful and very useful in the enterprise, doesn't convey the same sort of nuance or context that you do when you're having a conversation with somebody. You can't really tell the importance of the message or the intonation in somebody's voice. So those are some of the challenges, I think, with existing tools.
Well, certainly there's no question that both email and SMS messages have the tendency to be misconstrued from time to time. So certainly I think everybody can relate to that. How much how much demand is there for these kinds of messaging apps and solutions in the enterprise business?
Well, we're seeing a lot of demand for new ways of communicating in the enterprise, especially over smartphones. So there are many companies that either have some kind of a BYOD program that they're introducing in the company, or just rolling out smartphones to their users. We're seeing companies want to consolidate the number of devices that their employees are using. So there's a retailer that we're working with, and they actually have what they call the bat belt problem. So each of their associates has a belt with a whole number of different devices, a two-way radio, barcode scanner, multiple devices that they're trying to use. They want to trim that down to one device and have applications on a smartphone for that person to use and to have a much easier way of communicating.
How do you differentiate, or what's the need for what Voxer is offering beyond, why wouldn't somebody just use what they have, the abilities of their unified communication solution?
Sure. I think what we're doing is we're combining the sort of power of live messaging together with the sort of etiquette of text messaging and the etiquette of asynchronous messaging. So when you go into Voxer, the easiest way to describe it is there's a big button that you can hit, and when you hit it, you can instantly send voice to one person or a group of people. And when you hit that button, we are streaming that audio live. So if the person's available, they can actually be listening to it immediately as you're speaking, and they can respond immediately. So it's like you're having a conversation. In some cases, though, you're not able to do that. You might be in a meeting. You might be busy with something else. And so you'll get a notification sent to your phone, and that message will be recorded for you, and you can listen to it later and respond asynchronously. So it has both the urgency of a live communication tool and the etiquette of text messaging.
Is there any presence type capability so that I know whether you are available now or not, so whether I can expect to have you listen in real time and respond in real time? Is there a need for that?
Yeah, I think presence over a mobile device is an interesting concept. We introduce things like read receipts, so you know whether the person has read or heard a message. We haven't introduced sort of is somebody available or not, because your device is actually in your pocket or with you all the time. And through a push notification, I can always send you a message and hope that you get it. So those kinds of tools are still things that we're thinking about.
Are you completely network and device agnostic?
Yeah, so one of the good things about Voxer is we support Android, iOS, and Windows Phone. So with any iOS device or Android device, you can be communicating with other users in your business. And the other thing is that we're also network agnostic, so you don't have to be on a specific carrier network. We work over Wi-Fi. We work globally. So there's no lock-in in terms of any kind of a network. You can use Voxer anywhere on any smartphone.
Do you see video having a future in this kind of application?
Yeah, I think right now we obviously started with voice, and that was the first thing that we innovated around. We have text messaging, obviously, because there's many use cases where text is important. Photos and pictures, you can share those within Voxer, as well as location. Video would be a natural extension. It's not something that we've introduced just yet, though.
What are your plans going forward?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things we're always working on. We're always working on the ability to reduce latency. So we want that message that you're sending to be as low latency as possible to receive it as immediately as possible. The other thing that we're working on is how can we unlock some of the power and the data that's in some of this voice messaging. So although two people are able to consume, or a group of people are able to consume all the content, it would be good, for example, for a business to be able to transcribe those messages, to be able to act on the information that's inherently available there. And that's something unique that we could provide to that business. So for example, we work with a number of hotels, and one of the things that they could find out is, are there particular rooms that have particular service issues, because we're always getting called in to repair certain things in those rooms. Those are the kinds of business-oriented decisions that could be made on top of the data that is within Voxer.
Do you enable the kinds of calling features that that might be typically available with voicemails or text, forwarding, things like that? What about group messaging?
Sure, yeah, group messaging is a big thing. So with Voxer Business, you can set up teams or distribution lists ahead of time, and people can just use those, very analogous to email. You can also set up just ad hoc groups. So if we had to have a discussion with a couple of other folks, you can easily add them to the conversation and talk to them that way. In terms of forwarding and sharing, absolutely. So it's you can take a file and a voice message or a text message and share it with or forward it to any other individual within your business as well.
Very neat. Irv, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.